So, after a brief hiatus, I am back doing the education series. So, this next series is on exercise selection. And some people may be sitting there reading this thinking, what the hell do you mean? What the fuck is exercise selection? Surely you just train and do the movements you do. I would agree to a point, but what I really mean is, are you picking the right movements? So a lot of this comes down to personal preference, like I've been over before, like how you connect to movement yourself. Is it an execution issue? So for example, a squat, when you're doing a squat when you're training, are you connecting to it, or are you just moving weight from A to B? Because this is also something you need to consider, is how efficient you are at doing a movement. Because essentially, bodybuilding, you want to be inefficient at training. Like, if you think about powerlifting and a squat, for example, they're moving from A to B as quick as they can, as fast as they can, as powerful as they can, with that weight on the back. When it comes to bodybuilding, and again powerlifting, they're trying to use the most amount of muscles possibly to move that weight. So they're not just thinking quads, they're thinking glutes, hamstrings, adductors, everything, their lower back, their upper back. They're thinking about everything they can use to go from here to there, back up, and done. Same with the bench press. Whereas with bodybuilding, the inverse is true. When I'm squatting, I only really want my quads and my glutes working. So, compared to a powerlifter, I am inefficient because I have two muscles spreading the load versus all the muscles spreading the load. So that's what I mean by inefficient. So if you're extremely efficient at doing something, it might be the wrong movement for you because you might not actually get that much out of it. I feel that way with myself with deadlifts. When I look back at my training of all the years I spent deadlifting, my back never really got a lot better. As soon as I started doing more stiff leg deadlifts and different variations of pulls, RDLs, that such, my posterior, so like my hams, my glutes, my upper back, my lower back, started to change quite quickly. Whereas with a deadlift, it didn't. I still do them because I enjoy them, but the reason for doing them is different. So there's a few things you need to consider. You need to consider, so, connection, muscle, I'm going to see if I spell this right, see? The grammar, English people can hound me there. So you got your muscle connection, you got the efficiency, or rather inefficiency, of doing a movement. You also have injuries. This is one of them that, in my opinion, is the most important. Because if you're like me and you're banged up, you are an old dog, as some of the younger lads of coach like to remind me. You can't just do everything you want to do. You have to take into consideration the injuries you have. So like, I've got bad knees, my elbows are a bit iffy. Thus, I have to be quite methodical with my exercise selection and the order I do it in. And I don't just mean in the session, I also mean across the week. And then that comes to kind of the last one, is frequency. I'll put here joint loading because it's really the same thing. So frequency and joint loading. So again, this is something that, like if you're, say you're doing push-pull legs and you're training every 4th day, do you want to be squatting every 4 days? Maybe not. Like if you're decently strong, that's going to be a lot of stress through the knees and everything else, which is where you get the joint loading. So that's where I would pick another movement that's similar, that you connect well to, that isn't as strenuous on the knees or the hips or everything else, and that's where like maybe a belt squat would come in, or a hack squat. And the same could go for like, say, a dumbbell press for your chest. If you do push 4 days time and you're noticing like your elbows are starting to get some issues, or you're just feeling a bit more beat up, that's where I would suggest maybe doing a Smith machine press or a chest press, like a chest press machine. So when you're picking your movements, you gotta take all of this into consideration, which is what I do when I program myself and my clients. So like the muscle connection, like do you connect it? And if you do, how well do you connect it? How well do you connect to it? The bigger thing is if you don't. So like something caught in my throat. So a lot of this is just like thought experiments, if you think about it. So the main thing here is like muscle connection. Do you connect it? Lovely job. Yes. If you don't, why is that? Is it your execution? Is it that you've not done the movement long enough, that you've only maybe done that movement, that machine, 2 or 3 times ever, so you don't really know, you've not dialed it in, you don't really know what you should be feeling? Or do you just not feel it? So you need to explore that. So like, can it be fixed? If yes, then run it. If no, don't. Ditch it for something else. This thing, efficiency, inefficiency. Can it be adjusted? So using this squat example, when it comes to myself and squatting, I was never very efficient at squatting. I was very inefficient at squatting. Like I couldn't not let my quads take over. I used to squat very high bar with a narrow stance. It's all quads. Lovely jubbly. With my deadlift, where it was relatively efficient, could I adjust this? Yes. Yes, I could. I swapped this from stiff leg deadlifts, yada yada yada. You can adjust movements up to yourself. It's your training program. It's your body. It's your progress. So you've got to go through these thought processes of can it be adjusted, yada yada, and then like the injuries one, like how bad is it really? And I'll do it out of 5. So like, let's say, taking myself for example, nice and fucking conceited. Incline barbell press. I fucking love incline barbell pressing. It's really brought up my chest the past couple of years. It aggravates my elbows like fuck. How bad is it? It varies. Thus, the movements I do after incline barbell press in my chest session, they will vary depending on how my elbows feel. At the moment I'm going from incline barbell press to a heavy flat dumbbell press because I actually feel this gives me less grief than some of the machines I've been doing. And then 4 days later, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days later, 4 sleeps, I train push a shoulder session. This is where I notice it the most, because if going into that Tuesday my elbows are feeling it, I cannot shoulder press for fuck. It's horrendous. I hate it. So this is where recently I've been really struggling with it, and I've had to really play about with different shoulder press angles, different shoulder press machines, different approaches, only doing high reps, not going heavy, yada yada yada. So how bad is it? Depending on how you fail, like land on that scale, I would adjust the session almost daily or weekly or whatever, just going off of your own scale. Like if your knees, your elbows are always sore when you do that movement, then you need to bin it. But if 1 week you can get away with it and it feels decent and you connect to it, that's when you got to adjust things. Adjusting your rep range, adjusting where that movement is in your session. And then frequency and joint loading, kind of just touched over that. The main thing you got to take into consideration is like high risk, low risk. So if you've got bad knees, doing like big strenuous movements is what I would kind of worry about. So like your squats, your hack squats, the things of that nature. I always hear that hack squats eat people's knees. Whereas, like, again, using the knee for an example, I rarely ever hear someone gets knee problems with leg pressing. Thus, if your knee's not that bad, you can vary your leg pressing as to the degree of how many leg presses you have access to. Like in flex, I think we have 6. The Arsenal hip press, the 45-degree pendulum, another one, 5 leg presses. So like if my leg day, again going off the training regularly process, I could do 2 leg presses in each different session and I'd be getting that variation. So again, when it comes to exercise selection, it's not as simple as, well, that big guy does it, so I'm going to do it. I operate on that thought process. I used to operate on that thought process for ages. But the main thing it comes down to is like, do you connect to it? Do you like that movement? Are you weak on that movement or are you strong on that movement? If you're weak on it, I always feel like you should focus on it because you get stronger on it. And then last but not least, does it give you any grief? Because if it doesn't give you any grief, then lovely jubbly, keep at it. If it does, don't do it. Plain and simple.